Hello, my name is James Hendry.
And my name's Trishala Naidu.
We're going to be discussing SafariSnaps, Africam's new game which allows you, as a community member, to tag different species as they appear at our Africam cameras. Each species that you see has a unique rarity score based on how frequently it is seen at one of the cameras. The score may differ from how endangered or rare an animal is in the various locations. Now, this is all fun and games. The scoring of each animal shouldn't be taken too seriously, as sometimes we see a rare animal often, and a common animal may not occur on a particular camera. We can't be too pedantic about it. For example, we're very unlikely to see an impala at the Black Eagle Nest. These are our top 10 rare animals that you might see at our cameras. Often they're predators, sometimes they're just rare animals, and sometimes they're just difficult to see, and sometimes they're not at waterholes. First up, we've got Steenbok, which will net you a spectacular 61 points. Be careful not to confuse the Steenbok with the duiker. The Steenbok is often found in pairs, the duiker not so much, and you're most likely to find the Steenbok out in the open and not in thickets.
Next up, we have the lion. If you see a lion, it'll get you 62 points, which is amazing. I wouldn't tell a lion that you'd only get 62 points for seeing it, but this is the way life is, unfortunately. But you will see a lion at Baluli. There is the Takazile Pride. So that's always an exciting thing to look forward to. Apart from just being able to spot a lion and get points, it means that you have an awesome opportunity to learn a little bit about lion dynamics, which is very interesting.
Next up, we've got the leopard. Now, I feel like 64 points is a little low for a leopard, given how much everybody loves to see them and how hard we always search for them. But the thing is, that these waterhole cameras, the leopards frequent them relatively frequently. They come down to the water to drink during the hotter months, and often they'll actually hunt around the waterholes because they know that some of their prey are water dependent.
Leopards also have clear territories, and they often mark around the same spots and along the same paths. And oftentimes that's where our cams are. So you might see the same leopard again and again, and maybe even a new leopard. Then of course you'll let us know. Next up, for 72 points, the African wildcat. Now this would be awesome to have a look at. Again, it is one of those rarer animals. You don't see them very often, but they will come down to drink if water is available. But again, not really water dependent. It's not necessary because, like James likes to say, they get the majority of their moisture requirements from the viscera of the other animals which they eat.
And in this particular case, those viscera probably come from the rodent species of the areas where they live. So if you see something that looks like a common tabby cat with slightly long legs during the night, you're looking at an African wildcat, and you can have 72 points. Now we're going to move on to the cliffs, where you will find the rock HYRAX. Now you'll find these at the Black Eagle Cam or at Kwamaritane, not at the waterhole cameras. This cute little animal looks like a rodent, but isn't. It belongs to an order all on its own, and they live almost exclusively in amongst the crevices and on the ledges around the cliffs.
Next up, we have the side-striped jackal for 75 points. So this will be a really cool one to see. Again, you're going to see them in openy areas, places where they can forage quite easily, and you're going to see them in pairs. So the side-striped jackal differs from the black-backed jackal. We discussed this before, but the side-striped jackal has a really fluffy tail with a white tip, whereas the black-backed jackal has a nice black saddle that's quite obvious.
The best place to see a side-striped jackal is probably at the Nkoro waterhole, where there seems to be a resident pair. Next up is the African wild dog, which is a very rare animal to see, and you'll get 75 points for seeing the African wild dog. Also very valuable to research, so if you see dogs with snares on them or injuries, it's very important that you let us know, and we will let the relevant wildlife authorities know to go and help. They are extremely endangered, and you're likely to see them at Balule, in the Kruger, at Nkoro, and at Tau.
If you spot a brown hyena, you can get 79 points. And I think that's an apt amount because it is a rare species to see, particularly in Baluli when we're talking about our cams. But at Tau, you might have better chance of seeing them. So keep your eye out there to get 79 points.
The brown hyena, if you haven't seen one before, looks like a werewolf. So if you happen to be looking at a camera and a werewolf arrives, full moon or not, you're most likely looking at a brown hyena. Then we have got the cheetah for 80 points. These you may see at night, but most likely during the day. They too are not water dependent, so you'll probably just see them passing by. And again, during the hottest parts of the year, they'll hunt around waterholes because a lot of their prey is water dependent.
And finally, number one of our rare animals is the puff adder. If you see a puff adder, you will get 80 points. Now, we have actually seen puff adders, or at least a puff adder in the cam before, and you're going to see them at night. They're nocturnal, and they have a rectilinear motion, so they don't move in a serpentine motion that you kind of associate with snakes. Instead, it kind of looks like inchworming. And especially now it's going to get nice and warm towards the end of the year, you might see them out quite a bit. But remember, you've got to look at night to see a puff adder. So those were our top 10 rare animals, and we really hope that you get to see them through our cams, because apart from the fact that you can snap and tag and get your points, you'll also be gifted with beautiful sightings.